Now it's time for Open House, sponsored by Pyramid Heating and Cooling.
All right, we've got Brent from BYOT, which is Bring Your Own Tools. Brother, welcome to Around the House Northwest, man.
Thank you for having me, Erica. Much appreciated.
This is great. I mean, you're a guy on YouTube and all over the social media stuff out there, but you're also a Pacific Northwest guy. So I wanted to bring you on and talk about some of the projects because your projects actually relate to us in the Northwest that maybe in some other parts of the country don't relate as well.
But we definitely have our own little niche in the Pacific Northwest, which I absolutely love. And our climate is definitely unique compared to most around the country.
Oh man, it is. And it doesn't matter what you're doing here. You're dealing with lots of rain, lots of dry sun in the summertime and everything in between with the moss and the gunk that grows on everything as well.
Oh, of course.
My favorite. My favorite. I wanted to talk to you today, man. You have been tackling so many projects and doing a great job on YouTube with your Bring Your Own Tools brand out there. I wanted to talk about what are some of your favorite, projects you've been tackling and what are some remodeling trends that you're seeing from homeowners out there that are quite frankly watching what you're doing, man.
Really, my favorite projects that I take on are really framing projects, whether it's a deck, whether it's a shed, whether it's completely renovating an entire interior of a house. Those are the projects that I find really rewarding. One, because you see a lot of progress in a short amount of time. Once you start laying those beams or those joists, all of a sudden that structure comes to life, and it gives me a really large sense of pride. And again, with the Pacific Northwest, it ties in really nicely to this time of the year because the fact that we're finally seeing some nicer weather, and therefore many more people are going to be going out and tackling those outdoor projects.
Some of those things, and you're right, those exterior framing projects like that are just totally killer. But there's also projects out there that you tackle and you're like, I'm never doing this again as well. Have you ever had any of those? I know I have.
Well, there's a story behind it with my wife actually giving birth to our first baby girl because I took on this project. It was in the midst of COVID. My daughter was born in July of 2020, so in the dead midst of COVID, this project got pushed significantly, and of course, this project landed couple weeks before she was supposed to give birth.
Oh,
And I took on this project. I had to drive a couple hours to it back and forth. And it was a tile project where I was tiling an exterior rounded surface,
ooh.
which took much longer than I anticipated. And of course, I finished, I got done. Luckily, my wife did not give birth while I was over there. But of course, the next day after I got back home, late at night, the next morning, she comes in and says, I think my water just broke. Yep, that happened.
So what other challenges have you had, man? You do these great videos and people get to see this finished product, but as you know, working through those projects, just like anybody, you're diving through it and you're like, oh wow, this is going sideways. I got to get back in because I think every project has a little bit of that someplace.
Yeah, as a contractor, you really have to be a problem solver, especially on the fly. And I personally pride myself in being a very good problem solver because there's always going to be something along the ways that becomes an issue, especially if it's a remodel project, because you never know once you start diving into a project what you're going to find. And I personally find just having a positive outlook on a project and always being open to learning something new was something that I actually took great pride in, as well as I love what I do for a living because I'm able to teach others out there how to do it themselves. The real issue with me personally is the fact that I'm not only taking on these projects myself, but I'm also videotaping and editing and voiceovers. So the project itself actually takes longer to do because I'm setting up all of those shots, which of course in turns makes it less or more time consuming for the project as well as for the finished video product.
It's amazing, man. It's we'll pull the curtain back here and give everybody a peek. There is a lot of doing it. Okay, I just did this. I'm going to stop. Let's get the little close-up shots. It takes 4 times as long to do that project when you're making it into a video project. It is a lot of work. And you don't it's hard to get into that flow with it because do something, stop, do something, stop. It's not as easy than if you were just going to knock it out at home.
Nope, nope. But hopefully one day I'll have my own video crew with me, and they'll be able to tape the process while I'm doing the work. But it's again, it's so rewarding for me to be able to give back to my audience, to really allow them to learn how to build and do so many things, because that's what gives me pride in what I do for a living.
Nice, man. And what I like about your channel too is, and I just not saying this, but it's very honest. There's a lot of great tips in there. There are some you just like anything on the internet, you jump on and go, that's not how I would do it. Yours is really solid, and I appreciate that because there's a lot of great information in there for people that are really just looking for information to either to be inspired or tackle a project.
Yeah, no, I love hearing that. And I have to be very careful, especially as a contractor and a content creator. If I'm building something, it's going to be to code, and it needs to be well built and last a very long time, because I don't want to all of a sudden come to the point where I post a video and I get a bunch of comments saying, oh, you did that wrong, or oh, this didn't work out when I did it myself. And that's the last thing you want to see. I want to personally see people like, oh, really, it's that much work? Yeah, it is that much work to do it right.
Absolutely, man. Are there any? I was going to ask you, is there any tools out there that you've been? The tool world has been changing like all the time right now. There's, every company's coming out with their latest and greatest and newest and stuff out there. Anything you've been jonesing on recently that you've got? Oh man, this made my job easier, or even something that you want to? It's like, oh, I got to get one of these.
This guy
Oh,
is called a rhino cart, and
oh,
it
that is cool.
actually folds out. It can go from this thin all the way out to like 46 inches long. So you can easily move things that are a large scale item around the house or around a project extremely simply, as well as the fact that it has these really nice rollers on the end, which made it really easy to just roam around in different areas as well as different elevations. So that actually has been really nice. I saw that recently at the National Hardware Show.
Yep.
I go to many trade shows a year, and that one was a really nice find that I found recently.
Well, how do people find you, brother? How do people track you down out there and find your channel, find your social and your website?
Basically, just type in BYOT or BYO Tools and you'll find me, whether it's TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. I'm there, and there's plenty of fun, entertaining tutorials on YouTube, as well as just really fun content that's in the home improvement and DIY space elsewhere.
Perfect, man. Thanks for coming on. We're close enough. We're going to have to figure out a way to do a project together here.
I'm down. Just give me a call.